Greetings to all my tech heads out there in the KevTechify Nation, and if you're new here, welcome. In this episode, we're going to look at NAT64. We'll be discussing NAT64 for IP version 6 and the basics of NAT64. This episode is part of my series on enterprise networking, security, and automation. I'm Kevin here at KevTechify. Let's get this adventure started. Version 6, it was developed with the idea of not having to translate between public and private addresses. IP version 6 does not include private IP addresses. It uses instead a unique local address. A unique local address is similar to the RFC 1918 private addresses, the 10. Addresses, 172.16, 192.168 addresses, but they serve a completely different purpose. What these local unique addresses are for local communications within a site, within that local area network. It's not meant to provide additional IP addresses. All like NAT in IP version 4 is meant to give us additional IP addresses. We have that one-to-many where we're able to use private IP addressing on our local network, and we're able to suffice with just a few public IP addresses. That doesn't happen in IP version 6 at all. IP version 6 does provide a protocol for translation between IP version 4 and IP version 6. NAT for IP version 6 is used in a much different context than NAT for IP version 4 is used. NAT64. NAT64 stands for Network Address Translation from IP version 6 to IP version 4. So NAT IP version 6 to IP version 4, NAT64. NAT64 is used to provide access between IP version 6 only networks and IP version 4 only networks. It's used to provide communication between those two, IP version 6 only to IP version 4. It's not used to form a private network to a global IP version 6 network. That's not what it's there for. Now, NAT64 should be used as a temporary solution to migrate from IP version 4 to IP version 6. It is not a long-term solution. It was my pleasure to provide you with this wonderful episode on NAT64. If you like this episode and you got value out of it, and of course, depending upon what platform you're using, please click that like button, give a 5-star rating, leave a comment. This all helps me bring you more great content. Please take a minute to subscribe to my channel. All my socials and contact information are on my website, KevTechify.com. You can get all these episodes in video and podcast form. In the upper right is my playlist for my series on enterprise networking, security, and automation. In the bottom right is one of my favorite videos that I put there just for you. Thank you so much for watching this episode of my series on enterprise networking, security, and automation. Once again, I'm Kevin. This is KevTechify. I'll see you next time for another great adventure.